It does.
Okay, so it's Tunstill. I wasn't sure if it was
No,
Tunstill.
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 It used to be Tunstall. So we were from the South. My parents, Tunstall, from slave owners, great-great-great-grandfather changed it from an A to an I because he couldn't spell. So
Really?
It went from Tunstall to Tunstill, yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to episode number 32 of the Brandon Albert Experience. Today we have Lloyd Tunstill
Hey.
with us today. I met him at a filmmaking mixer. And ever since then, we've been good friends. We've been meeting up damn near every Sunday. We've got a good little film crew going. Two amazing guys behind the scenes right now. We got Will, we got Colby.
Shout out.
And that's why we're starting this up. So let's give a little bit of a background about yourself, and then we'll get rolling from there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I'm Lloyd Tunstill. I'm a film director, film student, really, student of life, if you will. But I came back to California shortly after the pandemic. Originally, I wanted to do stand-up comedy here in Hollywood. Thought I was going to be a big-time comedian, and nobody laughed at my jokes. None. It was a tough time for me, but after that, I realized that I can write. And so I was writing jokes, and my brother's an actor. He's like, hey, I'm not doing anything. Let's make a movie together. And so we made this little short film about the mayor of Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass, and it took off on the internet. After that, I was like, yeah, I caught the bug, man. This is what I'm going to be doing. So from there, I've been writing. I've been going to school, connecting with other directors, working on my film, working on my craft, and then really just watching a lot of films. Being a director, we're not actors. We are directors. So actors get to go and be on set 4, 5, 6 times a year if they're good, right? I just saw Brad Pitt's in Europe somewhere. He just came off of doing that Cliff Booth movie or whatever, The Adventures of Cliff Booth with David Fincher and all them. Am I getting that right? Yeah. So, I mean, actors can do that. Directors don't get that chance. We usually get 1 shot every 3 years, whereas an actor will get 3 shots every 1 year. It's a whole different ball game. So when we do get that shot, we kind of got to be ready.
So within the writing, you went from comedy. That's where you started out with. When you were younger, was comedy always a passion of yours?
Not at all. Comedy was, well, I loved the Richard Pryors, Eddie Murphy, big time comedic actors, but I didn't really love stand-up comedy. My big thing when I was a kid was magic. I wanted to be a magician. I loved David Copperfield. I loved like any kind of trick you can pull. And so I had this trick with a dime, and you can put the dime up your nose and make it disappear. But I actually managed to stick the whole dime up my nose, and we had to go to the hospital and they had to remove it, and I got a spanking. So that sucks.
Mm-hmm. And then at what point in your life did you end up switching to directing? Like, how old were you? And was it always, wanting to be a director? And then was it always something that was in the back of your mind that you loved film? Or was it just like at the drop of a dime, it just kind of randomly switched?
No, I think life kind of takes us on strange turns. I was always supposed to be here, but I didn't know it. So as a kid growing up, we lived in a really brutal, violent, turbulent household. And our escape was going to the Magic Johnson Theaters right there in Baldwin Hills. Shout out Magic Johnson. I think it's called the Rave now. I don't know why they changed it, but Magic Johnson Theaters was our escape. And so we would go to Magic Johnson Theaters. For me, that was like church. We could go. It would be 2 hours. Nobody's going to get hit with a shoe. Nobody's going to get smacked. We're going to just be able to enjoy whatever movie's going on. And it was so entertaining. I would love going to the movies so much as a kid. I remember my babysitter was like, Lloyd, I got in trouble once. My babysitter said, Lloyd, finish the movie. And then he said, we're going to go back again. So we watched the same movie twice in movie theaters, and I got in trouble for that. Movies have always been a part of my life, but my life really changed when I was in 7th grade. When I was in 7th grade, I met this kid named Johnny Rusnick. Johnny Rusnick taught me how to download movies illegally. So I got to see Taxi Driver when I was like 11 years old. I got to see Pulp Fiction when I was like 10. And I was enamored by these films. I was thinking, this is possible? Like, this is real that you can make something like this? You can make something like Taxi Driver? Still my favorite Scorsese film to this day. It had such an impact on me at such a young age. And it's really violent, right? But I grew up in such a crazy, violent home that I was like, oh, there's other people that experience this too in the world. Like, I'm not alone. It's a weird feeling as a human, that feeling of not being alone and being able to connect to somebody, even though it's on screen, even though it's not real, it feels real to you in your heart. You don't know the difference. You have emotions. So yeah, man, that stuff just kind of connected to me. Another kind of weird thing I have is that I can't really remember like phone numbers and stuff like that, but I can remember directions. As a kid, we didn't grow up with like cell phones and Google Maps and all that stuff. Like, we had to just remember stuff. And one thing I've always had as a kid is I've had kind of like this photographic memory. So we never really needed directions getting home. Like, even if we were stuck somewhere, I just knew I could get us home because I remember, well, we turn here, we turn there. And I took that kind of photographic, film is just 24 frames a second. And so you're just taking pictures. And so I'm just taking pictures of all these movies with that photographic memory, and I'm saving it and I'm storing it. And I hope that I can use it one day.
Mm-hmm. And is there a specific director that you would want to model yourself after? When you watch their films, you're like, damn, I want to make something that resonates with a watcher like it makes me feel.
Man, there's a couple. There's so many great directors out there. I got to say that. And I would hate to disrespect anyone because I love so many, but there's two specifically that I see that I kind of model my game after. One is Melvin Van Peebles. So Melvin Van Peebles made Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. He made this film called The Story of the 3-Day Pass. And then the other one is Spike Lee. Big Spike impact on me when I was a kid. I would say probably right after Taxi Driver and Pulp Fiction, Do the Right Thing just dropped on me like a hammer, brother. It was like, whoa, this is possible. Mm-hmm. The lighting, the setups, the acting, the characters, all one person. This came out of one, like you could just write it on a piece of paper and then go make the movie. Yeah. Like it changed my whole perception. It changed my whole reality. Spike Lee was speaking to me because I grew up going to an all-white school in middle school. Man, it's a tough reality being a black man going to an all-white school. Spike Lee was able to speak to me about the black experience and what it's really like. And for some reason, I was able to connect to that. And I found a sense of peace, serenity, almost healing from it.
And how do you find being black either helping you or hindering you within being a director?
Man, I think it's a great time to be a black director. I think we've had opportunities right now that are unprecedented in terms of, you just saw what Jordan Peele did with Get Out. You're now seeing what Ryan Coogler's doing with Sinners. Like, this is such an incredible opportunity. We talked about Spike Lee. One thing that drove me crazy is that Do the Right Thing never won Best Picture, right? It was Driving Miss Daisy that year, 1989. And like, if that were today, I know Do the Right Thing would have won, right? Because it's a different time. Like, black voices are getting so much more respect and love in the directing space. People want to hear our stories and they want to hear our voices. And I want to encourage more, because I know if I'm doing this, I know there's got to be better directors than me, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you have a story to tell, right? What's your story? I have my story. I know where I come from, and I know the struggles I went to, and I know like what I'm passionate about. The cool thing about us, honestly, is that we have different stories. We're going the same direction, but we're not swimming in the same lane. That's awesome because we can encourage one another. We can bring one another up, all that stuff. And it should be the same for black people. But a lot of black people don't think that this is possible still. But it is.
I think what's interesting from my perspective is I remember growing up, a lot of the black movies that I'd seen were a lot about black trauma, and it's changed over time. And now you're starting to see black sci-fi movies, and you're starting to see black horror movies, and movies that don't have to do with just the fact of how rough it is to be a black person.
Every year doesn't have to be 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah,
like every year doesn't have, no disrespect. Like I love that, and I love that, but. Like that's to me, that's what made Django so special, right? The fact that it was something different, right? In that same lane, but he didn't go that same route. And so we can do more than that. We're able to do more than that. Get Out really broke the doors down, and we hope that we have more people that tell more stories. I like Sinners. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I liked it a lot, but I thought that just the idea of black creatives going out there and making their films That's more what we need.
And I think it was cool that you were mentioning about how like the difference between an actor and then a director within the field, because it is a completely different field. And I remember growing up, I always wanted to be an actor because I wanted the crowd to look at me. I wanted my face to be everywhere. But then I switched. I actually wanted to change. Rather than you looking at me physically, I wanted you to see me mentally. I wanted to be able to write a story, to craft a story that you can put on a screen that makes somebody feel something, to enter your mind. And I think that is what's beautiful, because then you have to craft the story for the actor to play this role that you want. And it's almost like you're kind of pulling the strings to make it come to life. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome, man. You're right. Yeah. I haven't had that experience yet. So I have played a few movies at theaters yet. And I've done 2 comedies and I've done 2 horror films basically. And the comedies I went to, have you had the experience of you've played your movie at a theater before?
Yeah,
and what was that like for you?
So I'm going to be completely honest. The first time that I showed Boys Just Want to Have Fun, my heart was just like destroyed.
Right.
And the reason was because I was watching every single other person's film, like inherently comparing my own film to them.
Right.
And I was like, God, my shit sucks. Meanwhile, the day, like that night, it was awful. I was like, God, I need to work so much harder because I'm comparing my beginning step to everybody else's 5th or 7th or 10th or whatever it is. And then I kind of realized that like we're all on our own journey. We're all on our own path. And I thought it was beautiful because luckily I wasn't able to stay in that mentality, but it is easy to go back to it. But I thought it was really cool to be able to just say, hey, they're doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing. How can I make myself feel, not even that I'm competing with them, but I'm proud to watch what I'm making?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a really one. I think it's good that you acknowledge it because that's hard to do. But to get to the place you want to get to, for me, especially, is that letting go, just letting go of the outcome, letting go of expectations, letting go of results, and allowing the film to be its own thing. You've already made the film. It's done now. You can't go back and change it. All you can do is enjoy it. It's so hard for me to enjoy, though, man. We were at the Regal in downtown, and they were showing one of my comedy films, Foot the Bill, and we were watching it, and the theater was packed. And, you know, you've seen your film 1,000 times over, and so you're not watching your film. You're watching the audience, of course, right? You always sit in the back if you're the filmmaker. So you can see the audience and you can see how they receive your film. And there were a few laughs. I'm not going to say there weren't a few laughs, but I was so in my head about the moments where there weren't laughs and things like that. Instead of me enjoying it and me just being present, it's so hard to be present when you have so much passion sometimes. Sometimes you have to take a step back and say, it's okay. It's just a movie. Right? Even though it's your movie, it's still just a movie. Yeah. Nobody in the theater knows it's your movie. Just watch it. Just enjoy it. And that's a tough place. I think it takes a lot of time to get there. It takes a lot of experience for sure.
I think it's a practice because I think the more and more you do something like that, the less and less you're going to have that high expectation, but that's not always, because it's probably, you're going to feel that way with every new film that you have, at least initially, and then it's going to start dropping after that second. It's always like at the beginning of the season when a new basketball player starts, like somebody might have a little slump and then they pick their shit up in the middle of the season, or
exactly,
they got to play a couple games.
Exactly. Yeah, it takes a little while to get going. It's not easy. It's a difficult craft, and you're going to make mistakes too. And then something I do is that not only do I watch what the audience is watching or how are they receiving it, I'm watching myself saying, oh, you messed up there. Oh, the camera should have happened there, or this should have happened here. And you become such a critic, it ruins the experience. And so filmmakers, people out there making films, don't ruin your own thing before it gets started. Be your own fan first. And I have to learn that in life too. Pessimism only goes so far. You have to be your own cheerleader. You can't expect the world to be your cheerleader. You got to be your own cheerleader.
Yeah. And it's hard, but I will say it's a practice and it's a training thing. And you actually have to allow yourself to sit with happiness. Like that's one of my biggest trainings that I'm doing right now, is actually like writing down something that was a good memory and not being able to like, but discredit it. and like actually sitting with the feeling. And if something else pops up, I just stay focused on the actual good memory itself, or the good thing that you're paying attention to. That way you're able to rewire your brain to actually pay attention to what's in front of you, stay present, appreciate it. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Of course it's going to happen, but you end up being more in control by recognize that you don't have control over your thoughts. So you just stay like a pencil and just keep straight.
Yeah. Well, you said no control over your thoughts. That had me thinking about the drama, but I want to say some things before we get into that.
Of course.
You're 100% right. It's so hard for me to even just to get present. I have to do a lot of work to get present. A lot of, honestly, as you get older, you got to do more meditation. What was that Kendrick Lamar line? Meditation is a must. It don't hurt if you try.
I actually wait. What song is that in?
That's
I know. I actually know that
meditation
bar.
is a must. It don't hurt if you try. I forgot where it's at, but just we'll remember it later. If we had our freaking researcher Georgia here in the house, maybe we would find it. But
we got two PAs
research.
right here.
Meditation is a must. It don't hurt if you try. But meditation is what has separated me being able to focus, because, dude, sometimes you get in this film thing and you're like, how many films have I not seen? I went through the Letterboxd top 500, and I just went through the first 100 films. And you know me, I watch a lot of films.
You watch a lot of movies.
There's at least 60 of those top 100 I haven't seen. 60.
Really?
60.
Damn, okay.
There's a lot in there that I'm like, man, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen that. And so really you have to humble yourself. It's a time thing. You have to put into work. It's not an overnight thing. That's why I think that even when AI comes, it's still going to be a process, because you have to still put in that same amount of work. Those guys that the Tarantinos, the Scorseses, they've put in the work, and the Sean Bakers, they've put in the work, because I hear them talk about films, and every time I hear them talk about films, it's a film I've never heard of.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that you have to watch like 1950s, 1960s, and, you know, films that people would originally say are like classics in order to make a good movie? I don't believe so.
No, I don't. No, you don't. I think if I were starting with someone who said, "Hey, Lloyd, I'm trying to get into this film game, where should I start?" I would start them with John Cassavetes and work forward. So John Cassavetes, to me, is the foundation of new cinema filmmaking. That's where that should be your foundation of. You should not, if you're a filmmaker, you should not have. There should be no way you haven't seen every Cassavetes film. He only made like 8 of them. If you watch all 8 Cassavetes films and really watch them over and over again, you'll start seeing how other people are stealing from Cassavetes, because he's the foundation of new filmmaking. All that Hitchcock shit, that's dead. I like it. You know me, I'm a nerd. I like it. But to be a filmmaker, to do what we're doing today, Cassavetes is where I would start.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I think that I kind of have that new Gen Z kind of like narcissistic. I wouldn't say it's that far, but it's like start watching what you enjoy. Like if you're going to make music, start by listening to the music that you like listening to. If you like movies, start by watching the movies that you like watching. Now, that doesn't mean just watch Avengers and watch all that kind of shit. But you might be into that. That's not a bad thing. Yeah, and that's not a bad thing. I guess what I'm saying is, I think that there's probably somebody who's never seen any I don't think I've seen a single Cassavetes film, if I'm going to be honest.
What?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but. And I guess what I'm saying is,
they're not all great, but I'm saying like if to learn the craft, this is a difficult craft. We're not special. We're craftsmen. We're not different than a carpenter or a plumber, but we're skilled tradesmen. And so to learn the trade, and I'm not saying you got to like it. I can name you about 6 Cassavetes films that I can't stand out of the 8, but there's 2 of them there that's straight gold. But just to learn the craft, just to learn how to be a filmmaker, to learn what moves or what, to learn how he lit this, to learn his style, his process. Because if you watch enough Cassavetes, you'll see the Safdies that's what they do, right? And you'll see a lot of other directors. Sean Baker steals from Cassavetes. Tarantino steals from Cassavetes. So there's a whole list of directors today that are built on the backs of that. I'm not saying go back to 50s if you don't want to, but you got to start somewhere.
I agree. I think like from my perspective, when I watch film and I kind of see where it came from, I see a lot of PTA just because of every his just art style of his craftsmanship of a movie, the way that his movies are shot, the way that his movies are colored, every single character, even if they're not important to the story, has a background. Every single person in the character has some level of importance to driving the story further. And I think that's what's cool. Nobody's just like placed within a film. And I think that's what's beautiful. Now you can probably say you got that from Cassavetes, but I've never like, I feel that way when I watch a PTA movie. And then kind of combining what we were saying with the Avengers, the reason why I love One Battle After Another so much was it was, you give an art house indie director the budget of an Avengers movie and you get One Battle After Another.
Right, agreed.
And that's why I thought that was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. One of the most phenomenal theater experiences that I've ever had. Just because I was like, what the I was so confused while watching it. And not confused in a story wise, but I was like, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. And I was fattling.
To which part? The cinematography? It was a great movie. I don't know if I had that same feeling. I had a similar type feeling, honestly, when I saw Marty Supreme. I really liked Marty Supreme. I thought that movie was phenomenal. But with One Battle, the thing that stood out to me with it was the soundtrack. It was like a musical DJ. Like, he had so many great songs, and to your point, so many great characters. Jungle Pussy, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Who would think of a name like that? That's great.
That's her actual name.
I might name my kid that.
Yeah.
Hey, come here, Jungle Pussy.
That's crazy.
Get over here, JP.
I like it though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some creative shit. And I know PTA was getting a lot of backlash for that movie. And I mean, I disagree. I think every single person in that movie was placed very well. I don't know. I didn't like the backlash that he was getting for it.
I didn't see any.
The way that black characters are written. They said that Tiana Taylor was I can't remember what those old like caricatures were in the like early 1900s.
But I saw a little bit of that. No, there wasn't enough there. There wasn't enough there to even be a story. That's why I didn't even pay any attention to it. Yeah, people try to make a story out of nothing nowadays, especially the media. Just wash that down.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just got to swallow.
Yeah, the Dikembe Mutombo, like, get out of here.
Yeah, I actually kind of want to talk about that because I had a very
Dikembe Mutombo.
No, not
okay.
Dikembe
Sorry,
Mutombo.
Go ahead.
We can talk about basketball, but the whole thing about the media, I think it's really interesting on how easy and how kind of simple it is to just piss people off nowadays. Like, you can just say the wrong thing, and I don't even want to say the wrong thing, but in some group of people's minds, that's the wrong thing, and now you're hated for the rest of their lives. But they've probably said something 10 times worse just in this day. They just want a reason to attack you. Like, I don't like that exists.
I don't like it either, but you don't have to like it to admit that it does exist, right? Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequences. That's a big thing in this world. And you can say whatever you want, but you will be held accountable for it, good or bad. And it might not be fair. Great example is Kanye. You say that Heil Hitler thing, you can come out here and do your concerts and all that stuff. We ain't letting you to Europe, right? Yeah. Like, we don't forget that. Just because you say you have mental health, all that stuff, that doesn't mean there's not going to be consequences for your actions. Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool that there's two groups of people that are really with it, that are like, life is too short to hold this against him, and then life is also too short for us to like forgive the guy. So I kind of like that exists. So he's still able to do it in America, and then they're like, yeah, nah, fuck you, we don't want you over there. Like, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, because he could probably go somewhere else in Europe and do the same thing, just not there. But
I think America will do whatever it needs to do for the almighty dollar, and that's been proven time and time again. You got money, you can do whatever you want here.
It's an evil world that we live in, but I mean, at the end of the day, you sign up for it, especially being a director, especially moving out to LA. If you want to be a content creator, you want to be anything.
Has LA lived up to your expectations? I know it's weird because we're from here, right? Me and Will are from here, and a lot of times people come out here and they think Hollywood, and they see the lettering and they see the stars, and within like a year, and Will knows this, they are gone out of here, right? Because their expectations and the reality of what LA is didn't line up. Where is that for you? I
would say that my expectations were not met, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I think it was completely different and like a 180 turn. It reminds me a lot of college personally. And that's kind of, I wasn't expecting that. And I like that because there's always something to do. That doesn't mean I'm always going to want to do that thing. That doesn't mean that I'm always going to want to get involved with that film, be a PA on that set, act in that movie. But there's always a film that's going on if I want to try out for it.
Always.
And that's what I love so much about LA is there's always an opportunity. Like I remember Colby and I, we went to a rave one night. And all of a sudden we go to the rave and we show up at the wrong place. We get shooed in and then we're in the room and every single person is shirtless, wearing Speedos, like black Speedos, pink Speedos. And we look and we see 4 pieces of paper with different wristbands and it's like top, bottom, switch and like neither. And I'm like, where the fuck are we? And it was a gay Asian party. And I was like, the fact that LA is so big that you can go to a gay Asian rave was so fucking cool to me. Like, not saying I want to go to that specific party, but the fact that that exists, I think is awesome to me. Like, there is every single thing that you want to find out in LA. So it reminds me of college. There was 40 different clubs on campus. If I wanted to go to the comedy sketch club, I could do that. If I wanted to go to the racquetball club, I could go do that. If I wanted to go sing or the theater club, like there's just every single different type of thing. Electrical engineering. Like I love that. And that's why I love LA so much. And it's so big because there's every single different place. Like Echo Park personally reminds me of Brooklyn. Downtown LA reminds me of Philadelphia. If I go to Santa Clarita, it reminds me of Dover. Like I don't want to go to Santa Clarita because I don't want to be in fucking Dover. So it's like, that's why I love LA so much, is because there is every single different type of thing and every single different type of person. Like, no, it didn't have that bright shining lights and all the stars and all that, but it had a different love that I have. And I want to be here for, I don't know how long, but I really do love it here, truthfully.
Man, that's so awesome to hear. Yeah, you sound like a real Angelino. Like you really listed it all out too. Yeah, as long as you have the right expectations, LA really is a great place. It's a great place to live, great weather, high taxes, and then dog shit. I saw a woman not pick up her dog shit today, and I almost stepped in it. It's crazy. Not only does the dog like look at you in the eye while it's shitting, then you just leave it there and you just move on like nothing happened. People that don't pick up their dog shit are the same people that don't pay their taxes. Same people. Like you gotta pick it up, man. Yeah. Pick up your dog shit, people.
Last night I went to go see You, Me, and Tuscany.
You saw that?
I was asleep for like half of it. I'm not gonna
You are a movie watcher, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I went to the movies and I walked out and I go and I sit inside of my car and a random guy pulls up next to me and he's like, yo, this dude was trying to break into your car for the last hour. Like every single time that we would shine our lights on him, he would just like disengage. And then I was like, are you serious? Like, what's going on? Yeah. Wow. And then the guy was like, yeah, he's sitting up there on the staircase right now. If you want to go talk to him. I was like, yeah, I'll go do that. Thank you for, thank you for watching out for me. So I drive my car over to the staircase and I'm like, yo, did you find everything you needed? And the guy was like, yeah, I kept hearing voices in your trunk. I was like, oh, okay, bro. I was like, have a good day, bro. Fuck you. And I just drove away. I was like, I'm not messing with a schizophrenic. Like, I don't know if he was trying to lie. I don't know if he was telling the truth. I was like, let me get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, that's LA.
That's LA. Honestly, I might get a shirt company that just says that's LA or what happened to LA. But that's LA to me is better because that's LA is so relevant to everybody who lives in LA. Like, that's LA. Colby told me an incident where he was on the bus and some dude was like shitting on the bus or something like that. That's LA. Like you just get that on a shirt. That's LA for you right there.
It's so fun. Like I'm living in my car and I'm using polyfoam boards to block up my windows, the front and the back. That's LA.
That's LA.
like I'm living the life.
That's the wildest part of LA. So how has that been? Let's touch on that for a second.
Dive into that.
Okay, the nights. Where are you sleeping at? How's the sleep been going? Are you still getting the full 8 hours?
I am getting the full 8 hours. So I will say I actually like it. It's not something that I dislike. I get comfortable sleep and I personally actually enjoy it. The biggest problem is finding what to do at about like 8 to 10 p.m. So during the day, when I wake up, the first thing I go do is I go to 24 Hour Fitness, I work out, go take a shower, then I get in my car, go eat, go to the library for 4 or 5 hours, do my work, whatever, right? Go to eat again. That's usually how my day has looked. Or if I have a job that I got to go shoot for a video or something, then that kind of replaces my library time. The problem is once it hits 7 or 8 after I'm done eating, it's like, okay, now what the fuck do I do? That's normally when I would go back to the house, chill, sit, watch, play some video games, go watch a movie. Now it's 7 and 8 and I'm in my car and I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep right now. What the fuck do I do?
Right. So you go to a movie.
So I go to see You, Me, and Tuscany. That's what I go and do. Because it's like, I don't know what the fuck else to do. When I was living in Puente Hills, I would go play pool at like the local bowling alley and that kind of shit. That was fun. Like I enjoyed doing that. But honestly, I don't see why I can't just do that and just go to any like bowling alley to play pool. So
you could potentially. That's not a bad option. Mini golf. There's a mini golf place right off the freeway in Sherman Oaks. The Sherman Oaks Galleria, cheap mini golf.
Really?
But it's outside. I don't know if you don't want to be outside, but it's something to do. You're looking for stuff to like kill time. Quick time killers, a couple hours maybe. Just
quick time killers, but also something that's like enjoyable for me. Like when I was in college, we had the Hen Zone. I would go play pool from like 8 to 10 p.m. all the time. Or if it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I wouldn't even really drink. I would just go to the bar to just chat to people, just go meet people.
You need like a hookah lounge pool place.
Yeah, that's
to where you can just chill. Honestly, that's not a bad setup. Where are you going to find a pool place though?
Well, I mean, realistically, any bowling alley, they always have pool for $1. And the thing is, you play $1 to get on. If you're good, the person who challenges you have to pay. So if you're good and you stay on, you only have to pay $1 for as long as you play. And I'm pretty fucking good. So I go to the bar, I'm there for maybe an hour and I probably spend $3. So because I'll probably lose a couple times because, you know, shit just happens.
You play like that?
But I'm good.
Wow, okay. I don't play. I'm okay. I think I'm all right. I'm like your average pool player, right?
Okay.
Where I can hit it, but it might not go in, but it'll be near the little hole thing.
So you could set it up to hit it?
Yeah. But, you know, you're like out here, like, what's that movie, Color of Money or whatever? Like the pool movie? Yeah.
I've never heard of that, actually.
The Hustler, yeah. The Hustler, Color. You haven't seen Color of Money?
No, I haven't.
Martin Scorsese.
It's a Scorsese movie?
And then The Hustler was before that. He did Color of Money off of The Hustler.
Really?
I forgot who made The Hustler, but yeah, that's crazy.
I remember I went and this woman, she was like 45, 50. And I walked in and the first thing her husband was like, yo, play him. You want to play for money? I was like, sure. I was watching them. They sucked. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to win. And then they were like, $5. I was like, I'll do 20. They were like, oh, maybe. So then we settled at 10. So we played 10. I fucking cooked them. I took that bread so fast.
Dude was like Marty Supreme over here, man.
It was fucking great. I loved it. And I played the mom too. I was like, I don't want to play the mom. I want to play the dude that was.
Why are you playing people's moms?
Because I want to challenge, bro. Like I'm trying to make some fucking money, but have a challenge with it. I'm not trying to just fucking cook someone.
You and your mama can get this work.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey, fuck it. I'll play both. Double or nothing.
Wow.
But, yeah, it was fun. But then to go into the actual sleeping situation, what I'll end up doing is whatever town I'm in. So like last night.
Do you stay at the same city? Do you have your spots? How does that work?
So what I'll do is I will go to different residential areas. So last night I was in Puente Hills. So I went to a neighborhood that was in Puente Hills and I saw that there were a ton of cars down the street. So it was just residential parking as well as it looked like a safe neighborhood. So none of the houses were broken down. They all have fences. They all looked pretty nice and upkept. I was like, all right, I'll probably be fine here. It was 11 o'clock. So then I got my window boards. I put them up, put the thing up top at the front, put it on the back, and then I just go to sleep. And then usually what I'll end up doing, did it stop? Yeah. So usually what ends up happening is what I'll do is I'll just set it up and then I lie down at probably 11 and then I wake up at around 7 a.m. once the sun comes up. So I'll get like a nice 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Puente Hills. Where's Puente Hills at?
So Puente Hills, if Pasadena is right here, Puente Hills, there's like La Habra, and then there's Puente Hills. It's like it's like 20 minutes east of Pasadena.
Okay, you're staying in the safe part.
No, okay, no. All right, no. So that's not all the time. Like I was at Puente Hills, and then the 2 nights before I was at the USC campus. The night before I was in Burbank, and then the night before that I was in Glendale, so I was over that area. And then like a couple nights before, I wasn't in Inglewood, but I was like somewhere near there. That's where I ended up meeting Charles Bracy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, so like one benefit that's coming out of all this is not only are you living the LA experience in terms of the people that you're meeting, you know more about this city than the locals do because you are literally living it.
Yeah.
Like you are living in different spots. I had to ask you where Puente Hills is. I'm from here. Like you are living it, brother. Like that's some serious stuff, man. But good for you because this is only a short time in your life, and what a time, right? Like this is something you'll always be able to look back on. I hope you're journaling every day, like your experiences, especially as we go into the summer months. In the winter, you're gonna have to get out of that.
Yeah.
But in the summer, man, ride that wave, brother. Ride it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Like a lot of people, my mom was originally really scared, and then I gave her a call because she was texting me and calling me like every morning to make sure I was still alive. I was like, Mom, I love you so much. I really appreciate it, but you're scaring me when you call me every morning. I was like, you're making me feel like I'm doing something bad, like I'm doing something wrong. If something is wrong, I will call you, I will text you. And she was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then like now I'll text her during the day, but like don't text me as soon as I wake up if I'm alive, because that shit was scaring me. I was like, stay there.
You gotta chill. Yeah, you gotta let me live. Let me do my thing. But it seems like you're adjusting really well. At first I thought the car thing was going to be a little bit too much, but it seems like it's right up your alley. Like you're enjoying it. Like you're really learning about the city. You're learning about the culture. You're learning about different places that you might even want to stay one day. It's working out. Yeah,
it is really nice, and I'm so grateful for it. And I mean, obviously, there's a couple times where I'd want to stay in like the fucking Beverly Hills area, Hollywood, but there is no real residential parking there because you have to have that those permits. But everywhere else, I would say kind of like southeast, east, in the valley and all that kind of shit, I can stay anywhere. So honestly, like that has residential parking right there. So if I wanted to sleep there, realistically, I could. So you can, and that's the cool thing about this city is, I would say, if you have any level of an IQ, what street you should stay on and what you shouldn't. Like, So I've kind of just been able to like pick up on that.
Yeah, same with areas too. So from the areas that you've seen so far, if you were to live somewhere, where would you want to live based off of where you've been so far already in your car?
I actually really like Glendale. Everybody
loves the Glendale.
Yeah, I love the Glendale area. It's very like kind of expensive, kind of posh, but it has everything that I would want. It's got a really nice movie theater. It's got really nice food. It's close enough. I honestly love that Pomona Diamond Bar, Puente Hills. I love that area. So Glendale is kind of right in the middle of if I wanted to go to Hollywood, if I wanted to go to Burbank, and I wanted to go to like the Valley, and then also if I want to go to Rancho Cucamonga and all of that in the in East LA. Like that's not even really in the city. So
right.
I love that spot right there.
Glendale's nice. I like Glendale for those reasons. A couple different reasons. That 24-hour fitness. Have you been to the 24 in Glendale?
Yes.
That is fantastic. You got to take that elevator up sometimes. Yep. You got to take those stairs up. That one of the best 24s nobody knows about. And then Dodger Stadium, right? So Dodger Stadium is a beast to get to. But if you drive from Glendale, it's not that bad. It's like right there. So Glendale has always kind of been on my radar, but Glendale, man, with those parking tickets, I'm on to you, Glendale, and we're going to have a conversation when you see me. Glendale will hit you up with some parking tickets if you're not careful. Like you have to pay at Glendale. Don't play around with Glendale. They will get your ass. And this is coming from someone who's collected over $7,000 worth of parking tickets.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah, let's hear that. Where the fuck did that start?
It started in Koreatown.
Okay.
Yeah, it started in Koreatown. It started right when and this is not like over a period of long time. This is within the last 4 years, that amount, because I just would not pay them, right? I said, F you to the city. I thought I was some kind of rebel. You cannot be a rebel in the city. They will break you. They have broken me. And so I've learned my lesson. Hand to God I have. And I'm still kind of saying F you to LA for those parking tickets, but at some point I'm going to have to pay them. We'll work something out.
Where have you found yourself getting the most tickets in LA?
Right in Koreatown. Koreatown is not something to play with. Like, if you don't move your car after a period of time, not only will they give you tickets, they'll put the tickets in it and then they'll tow you. So not only do you have to pick up your car, it's really humbling. I've been told twice, you have to pick up your car from the tow. It is a lot. It's $400 to get out.
Oh,
and God. if you wait, I think it's like $52 a day. So it adds up immensely. And then on top of that, after you get your car out, it's marked up like crazy. And it's really hard to get the markings off that they put. I don't know what kind of thing they put on the thing, but it's like you're scraping. And so after that, you're about to turn your car on and there's a ticket there. You get a ticket on top of a tow. It's a beast, man. LA's a beast.
I remember in college at the University of Delaware, we would have UD parking. And actually, my roommate was a part of UD parking. So I was like, fuck you, bro. Like obviously respectful. I'm joking. But you would go to the Dunkin'. You would park your car right outside. And it would be 3 minutes. You would go in. You would go out. You would come out. And there would be a parking ticket on your car. And you parked there for 3 minutes. Because I swear to God, because if you didn't pay, and it would just be like $1.50 for like 30 minutes. If you didn't pay that, you would be fucked. It wouldn't matter if your car was there for 30 seconds and you walked away. You would be cooked.
But that's pretty common at college. Honestly, parking tickets have been a part of my life. It's not them, it's me, right? I own it. I'm completely irresponsible. And I think that I have this thing like, you guys can't give me a ticket. I'm a director, right? I have this thing like, you guys don't understand. I'm not like everybody else. Even though my car looks 10 times worse than everybody's car. Usually when I'm parking in like Beverly Hills or something, I have like this beat up Toyota Prius. I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. I'm about to be the next big thing, right? So don't give me a ticket now. Why would you stop my progress? They don't listen. So yeah, man, it's part of my lifestyle. But
it's
you can avoid it. You can avoid it by just doing the right thing, paying the meter whenever you got to pay it. And then stay off those LA streets.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been in New York City?
Yeah, I was born in New York.
Really?
Yeah, so we were. I was born in Queens in '93, and we moved to LA 2 days ago. It would have been 30 years. So April 10th of 1996 was our first day out here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. And what was it like growing up in LA in the early 2000s, mid 2000s? Like, what was that experience like? Because I feel like that was kind of the golden era of film, per se.
Not only the golden era of film, it was almost like the golden era of the city for us. Like if you grew up in LA in the 90s, it was like a giant playground, and it was anything could happen at any moment. Just like now, kind of. But as a kid, it was strange because, I don't know, like, for example, I told you I grew up in a real violent home, but LA's a violent city. And a lot of times people kind of get caught up in the palm trees and stuff like that. But the LA I experienced, man, was gunshots, helicopters. I saw my first dead body when I was 11, and it was so awesome. Because I just saw Taxi Driver, right? So I was like, oh, this is like, I'm living it now. Like, he was dead. He had gotten shot. It was a gang member. It was right off of Crenshaw in Washington. I'll never forget it. I was riding my bike, and there was a bunch of blood on the ground, and he had just gotten shot. Police were there. They had the caution tape out. I rode home because I was supposed to get a video game that day, and I had saved up my money all week, and I was bummed out, but I was kind of excited too because, like I said, I just saw my first dead body, and and so, I'm going back home. I get my money. I wait a couple hours. I go back. I'm determined to get this video game. Who shows up? But the dead dude's like homie, like his gang member homie or whatever. And he stops me. He stops my bike, and he said, "No, you can't go in here." I'm like, "Nah, man. Like, get out of my way. I'm just trying to get this game real quick. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not even bothering nobody. What? I don't even know you. Like, why you stopping me?" He's like, "Give me all your money, and he shows me, he like, was this, and like shows me his gun. I'm like 11, man. I'm like, man. So I pull out all my money and I gave it to him, and I'm pissed. Like, I was so mad. But then I was thinking, that's LA. Like, that's LA. That is LA, man.
What was that like being? I've actually never been robbed before. Thank fucking God. Knock on wood. What is that? Yeah, what is that experience like? And is that your only time being robbed? How many times have you been robbed in your life?
Only time, yeah, I can remember. Okay. I don't really call that being robbed. That's like, you just kind of like, it's a tax you have to pay to the city almost. Like a gang member, you got hustled by a gang member that day. Like you didn't get robbed. Like it wasn't like a drugstore robbery. Someone had a gun out. Okay. I don't even know if he would have used it. I was just so afraid when he showed it to me. Like as a kid, I'm like, oh. And I swear, I just saw Taxi Driver. So I saw the moment where Travis dude did that thing with the gun. So I'm like, nah, man, you got it. Here you go. Jesus. So yeah, man, crazy times.
I've told this story multiple times on the podcast, but when I was a senior in high school, I was starting up the podcast, and this guy that I used to know in middle school messaged me, and he was like, "Yo, I got a 2021 MacBook. It's $2,000, but I'm selling it for $660. You interested?" And I was like, at first I was like, kind of confused. I was like, did he steal it? I was really confused, but then I was like, okay, this is a MacBook. If he stole it, it has Find My Mac on it. So if he stole it, this guy's a fucking idiot. So in my mind, that's why I was like, all right, you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So I ended up buying it off of him. He gets in my car. He shows me the MacBook. He's like, yeah, I don't have the box. So he threw it away because it was a gift. And, he hands me the charging port for it and whatnot. So I'm like, all right, I appreciate it, bro. So I go back, I have it for about 2 or 3 days, right? And I end up getting home, I think it's like 9 p.m. and there's somebody parked outside of my house at night. And I walk up to the car because I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, nobody's usually parked outside of my house. And I look at the guy's phone, and the first thing on his phone, it says Brandon's MacBook. I'm like, oh no.
What?
I'm like, are you fucking serious? So it was the Find My Mac. So the dude sold me a stolen MacBook. He actually lived with the people's MacBook, like whose MacBook it was. So it was a church. So they owned a church. The kid was picked up by the church to live with them, and he stole the fucking MacBook from the people that let them live with him.
Wow.
Yes. And then sold it to me. And then they didn't press charges on the guy. So then I ended up out $660. He ended up getting the money. They got their MacBook back. I was the only person that actually ended up fucked from the situation.
100%. Yeah, I would have got that money back. Yeah,
I tried, but I
just couldn't do it. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Scammers. I thought you could reset it on a MacBook. I don't know how technology works, but can't you reset it to where it's like yours now or something like that?
Yes. So we tried to do that, but he didn't know what the Find My Mac password was. So we were able to say that it was, Brandon Alper's MacBook, but he wasn't able to beat the cloud, if that makes sense. So it was still in the cloud as their MacBook, but on the actual laptop itself, it was mine.
Boy, that cloud changed shit, didn't it?
That cloud fucks you up, man.
It changed shit. Now I don't even have to worry about my phone getting stolen. Like, it's on the cloud, baby. Everything's on the cloud. Photos, videos, man, that cloud changed everything.
I was in the sauna. I have so many sauna stories just because I'm in there fucking every day. And I was talking to this dude, and he was talking about the cloud, and he said, yeah, bro, I remember my wife, she was mad at me because some pictures popped up on my phone from 8 years ago. I didn't want them on there. They were just on the cloud. I tried to delete them and they just popped right back up. And it was some ex-girlfriend or some shit. She was mad at me. Just I don't want them on my fucking phone. It's just in the cloud. So I was cracking up at the dude. Funny ass guy. And I'm like, yeah, the cloud will fuck you up, man.
For real, man. It really will. It's crazy.
It'll fuck you up, but it'll also save you sometimes. You're trying to find some shit. So I respect it.
It goes both ways. I would say the cloud, I would put it in the same category as social media. Social media goes both ways. Social media can be really beneficial for you. Social media can be really detrimental to you. It depends on how you're using it and what you're using it for.
Let's hear it. How does social media affect you? Because that's a really common topic that I like talking about.
Man, it was weird because you're 10 years younger than me. You're 10 years younger than me. You didn't grow up in growing up with it. We grew up with Hotmail. We grew up with like you had to do that and your computer made like 20 different noises before it started up. I remember growing up as a kid, my dad had a computer in the home, and like as a black family, we were like, whoa, we got a computer in our house? This is crazy. And then you turn the button on, and it took about 10 minutes for the thing to start, and it made so many different noises. Same thing with internet. You guys don't remember that. You don't remember the hustle it had to get on the internet. Forget social media. I'm talking about getting on the internet. So it was that. But then MySpace, like you weren't a part of the MySpace era.
No.
MySpace in middle school for me was like how you got girls. And that was how you connected with girls. And it was how you stayed popular. And for me, growing up, I always wanted to be someone that was well liked or popular or seen or noticed. Appreciate you. And like that for me, that's what I wanted. And so that top 5 list on your MySpace was everything. It was a game changer.
What was it? What was on yours?
Oh man, it was all, of course, all your close homies, but you had to rank them, which was weird because everybody saw the rankings. And it was the first time though that kids actually saw perception on on online perception. Something that wasn't real became their reality, and that first happened through MySpace. So you had fights. I remember fights. I'm not number 1 on yours, but you're number 1 on mine, right? So now you're fighting over something that's not real. And so we grew up with that, and that kind of impacted me with before even Facebook. Facebook was weird because Facebook was like electric. If MySpace was just for middle school, Facebook was the adult version of that. And I don't remember when it came around, but it was around high school for me, and everything was public. And it was fire because I had some fire things, and you could say whatever you wanted, and my parents weren't on it yet, so I could say fuck you, bitch, pussy, cunt, hoe, and all that stuff. And so like you could really like let it rip.
Yeah.
And it was great. But at the same time, you started seeing people, the same thing I saw from MySpace amplified on Facebook. It was on a way different level. And that's even before Instagram and all that stuff.
I remember because I grew up with Facebook, Instagram, and then Snapchat, and I was never a part of the MySpace. That was before my generation. We also grew up on Kik, like KIK.
What's Kik?
So that was like an online chatting.
Kobe's like,
Kobe's like, yeah, I use Kik. But it was always like the thing that you would use to try and like get girls on. So you would try and like message a chick and say like, hey, what you doing? Like, just trying to rizz her up basically. Mm-hmm. That's what Kik was for. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that was a weird thing because it wasn't messages. It was just like you going through that. And then what stole Kik was Snapchat. Because then it wasn't able to, your messages disappeared after. Mm. Kik, they stayed. So if you were trying to say some shit and you said some shit that was like weird, screenshot, boom, post. Now, if you say some shit that's weird, you can't really do it as easily because now you can be screenshot. Or if you screenshot it, now it's going to say the other person did it.
Right.
You can save the message, but then if you save the message, the other person sees that they saved it.
Right.
So it's a lot easier to get away with being a weirdo essentially on Snapchat. And I remember in middle school and then high school, that was like a really big thing within relationships and within friendships. Like if you were snapping a girl and she had a high snap score, you're like, nah, I can't fuck with her. She's talking to too many dudes. Like, her snap score is high. That means she's getting snaps to her and snapping a ton of people back. Like you don't
too much snapping going on.
Yeah, it's like she's talking to too many dudes. I can't get along with that. So that was just such a weird thing. And then you would get into the thing where it would be like you're talking to a girl and then she left you undelivered, but now the snap score is starting to go up. So you see that she's talking to other people, but she's not snapping you back. And then you're like, oh no, like
what's going on? You keep sending her snaps. Yeah, what's going on?
Yep. And then
I see the scores going up.
Yeah, I see the scores going up, but you're not talking to me. So
is that still a thing? Is Snapchat still a thing in your generation?
I would say it's starting to die out. Like Snap is really starting to die out. Instagram is just really starting to take over. TikTok's starting to really take over. Snapchat is just kind of like, into the dirt. There are definitely still people that are using it. Don't get me wrong, but it is absolutely a dying platform.
It's not the same as it once was. It had a real run for me in college. Like it was great in college, and it was great to connect with girls to tell them like we're going to be partying here this weekend. This just quick message because you know it'll disappear. Oh man, Snapchat it was a good run. It was a good run, but I think I got rid of it after college. I just kind of, but I know some people that still use it. I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I would say my junior year, I would say I've used Snapchat all the way up until about my junior year. And then I was just like, what's the point of this? Like,
but do you remember old social media? Because social media changed too, to where all this algorithm bullshit, we didn't have that. You didn't have that either,
I
right?
didn't have
okay,
that
you didn't have that. That wasn't a thing until recently, right? Now, if you guys post something, I might not see it for like 4 days, which is crazy.
I don't like that because they kind of realized that, well, I mean, they knew this all along, but they were trying to figure out a way to keep people on the app so they can make more money. You were talking about the world revolves around money. So then they realized, oh, this is how the algorithm worked. It doesn't matter what you post, what he posts, what he posts, what I post. It matters what is going to keep you on that app. So they just immediately get you to Reels. They immediately get you to just like...
People I don't even follow.
Yeah, people you don't even follow. They just know that you're going to stay on the app because it's just providing you that immediate fucking dopamine as soon as you go on the app.
But I think honestly it would work if it was the other way. If you allow people the freedom to watch people that they follow, to make their own choices, let people play God. That's what we always wanted to do in the beginning.
Yeah.
If you let people do what they want to do, they'll stay on your app longer.
I mean, I think that there's there's like a difference in that. I think if we grab like a USB-C cord and then put that on there, yeah, that should work. But thank you. I think people want to play God, but at the same time, like people don't want to think enough to play God. That's another thing that I've realized is people are really, no, and hear me out when I say that. I think people are really lazy now. Mm-hmm. So when they just go on Instagram, they don't really want to do that kind of shit. They just want something that's easy, that's immediate. So they don't want to like craft all of this shit. They want something given to them immediately when they go on. They're going to see what they want to see. I think it gets to a point, well, I mean, at least for me personally, I wouldn't say I'm like everybody else, where I get to a point where like, I can't do this anymore. Like I just get bored. I get fucking tired. I get frustrated with my algorithm. So I just turn it off. So, there's a ton of chords. There's a ton of chords over there.
Yeah, I do that too. I try to spend as little time as I can on it unless I'm like really need to do something on it.
And there's a plug coming out of the side of my book bag actually. Yeah, so then if you use that, yeah. Cool. Oh, I meant the block. That too. Yeah, sorry. My bad.
No, you're good, man. We're getting set up, baby. This is part of it. And honestly, I think that in reality, yes, people are doom scrolling, right? They're not using their brains. That's going to impact film, right? Because if they're doing that now, they're not going to care about waiting to see your film or waiting to get the message of your film or what you're trying to say as a filmmaker. It's going to be about, can you give me this shock value almost. I loved Titan. I thought that movie was great, but I also thought she had a lot of shock in there. She had a lot of oil coming out of the titties, all that stuff.
Yeah, that was fucking gross.
But it was at least there was some story there, but there was a lot of shock value. Kids want shock value now, and
the actual light itself. Oh, it's on light. Yeah. It's on the side. There's a USB port. Yeah.
Got the best PAs in the world.
I was going to say, shout out the PAs.
Doing it.
And then I think if you hold the blue button, then it'll turn on. Yeah.
Awesome. I need some light on me, man. You know, it's dark over here. But no, I honestly, man, the film industry is going to change because this generation behind you, I wouldn't say you, because you have this thing to where you watch films and you put a lot of time into it, but this new generation wants 10 seconds. What can you give me right away? And it's going to impact the film industry. It will.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you see the podcast with Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
I mean, they were talking about it. Yeah, they were talking about that.
But at the same time, you can't be talking about how that impacts what you're doing, and you're just putting out slop. That's human slop. I didn't see the rip. There's no way I'm ever support that. That was human slop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, I haven't seen it, but you probably should watch it before you say that.
No, because I know in the first 5 minutes they're saying they have to just put out a bunch of bull crap. Nah, man.
Well, yeah, and that is slop. Like, God, the fact that they're trying to make you say the plot of the movie 3 times because they know that people are going to be on their phone. That is slop. That's fucking bullshit. Like, are you serious?
Joe Rogan, if you go back and watch that interview, Joe Rogan didn't see the movie. And the first thing that that Matt Damon says when he sits down, he says something like, yeah, we've been doing a bunch of interviews with people who haven't been watching the movie. And then Joe Rogan says something like, oh yeah, I saw it and I loved it.
Yeah,
or
he
something
said
like
I saw it and I loved it. Yeah.
He didn't watch it because like 5 minutes later, they asked him something he didn't know the answer to. He didn't watch the movie. Yeah. Ain't no way. That's a bunch of slop. You could have made that same movie in somebody's garage with a green screen and some AI and done almost that same production, honestly, because there was no story. This is just slop, man. People can read through the BS now more than ever because of AI, and that's one of the benefits of it.
I think you're right. People can read through the bullshit and understand what's slop, but I also think people are becoming a lot more open to slop now, and that's the problem, is because it's so easy and it's so gratifying and it just snaps just like that. It's like nobody wants to go sit down and watch a fucking 1950s black and white movie about two people walking down the street. Like, nobody wants to do that anymore. Meanwhile, that might have the fucking top 100 greatest films of all time. Like, nobody wants to do that. I don't want to do that.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. And that's why I get why you ask, where would you start? Because I know if I try to talk to you about some 1950s films, that's a dead end conversation.
Okay.
So I know you're NBA YoungBoy and all these 2000 kids, but there are real films out there that have happened before your time.
Who's the equivalent to NBA YoungBoy in fucking movies right now? I actually have a great answer.
I don't know, because I'm gonna sound like a hater.
No, let me hear it.
My version of like an NBA YoungBoy would be like a Sydney Sweeney. I don't think Sydney Sweeney has talent. I think she's just here for a second and she's gonna be gone. I don't care what she did. I thought Christie was terrible. I thought The Housemaid was whatever. The Housemaid made money because it was a book I read. So it was a book before it was a movie. But Sydney Sweeney, man, you can forget me all that. Nice tits. But excuse me, I shouldn't be saying that. but nice tits. But
I'll agree with that. That's a great take.
Nah, man.
I can't lie. I think Sydney Sweeney plays the role that she is given amazingly. Actually, I haven't seen Christie, so I won't say that. But in The Housemaid, I can't lie. She's like a piece of cardboard. She's just there. And I actually really like The Housemaid. There are a couple parts in the movie that I like her, but I will say, who's the other woman in that movie? Amanda Seyfried. She carries that movie. She's amazing.
Okay.
Even the dude is really good in that. I actually love The Housemaid. I really enjoyed that. But then I will say Sydney Sweeney in Euphoria, I really enjoyed her character because she knows how to play like a crazy bitch very well. And then I think she fit very well in Anyone But You. I liked her in that. And the reason I say that is because she's not playing like a real depth kind of character. I would like to see her be given like a hard role. I don't know. I want to cheer somebody on. Kind of like Zendaya was originally a Disney star and then she started getting these like crazy roles and now Zendaya is fucking amazing. Like I will watch anything that she's in because she kills it. And I low-key feel bad for Tom Holland because every single role that she's in is always some like fucking sexual deviant or some crazy thing. Like, but I mean, it's still a fun, like she's still a great actress.
Yeah. No, but who's your person? Like, who's your NBA YoungBoy?
I will say, as a director, my NBA YoungBoy of film right now is Osgood Perkins. That dude is just dropping a fucking movie every year, and it's always some ass. Like,
really?
But he'll drop some good shit. Hold on, no, hear me out. That's what I'm saying. So, NBA YoungBoy, he drops 7 goddamn albums a year. He'll have 3 songs that are good or 4 songs that are good, like collectively throughout the albums. And then you'll be listening to those songs. Osgood Perkins, I can't lie, Long Legs was pretty good. And then he dropped Keeper. Keeper was okay. Keeper had really scared me because it did everything that scares me. Really slow, lingering shots, as well as sound and just keeping the shot still with there being nothing on it. That scares the fuck out of me. Do I think it was a good movie? No. That's the same thing why I like NBA YoungBoy. I think he kind of makes bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's what satisfies me and what I really enjoy about music. And that's kind of why I like Osgood Perkins. I'm not saying he's like soulless, but he kind of just keeps churning and churning and churning.
Spike Lee was like that. Spike Lee would put out almost like a film every year. And I think there's some beauty in that, but I think there's some danger in that too, because you can put out some bad quality when you do it like that, when you're just churning like that. I'm trying to think of directors who churn like that. If you're a director and you churn like that and it's bad, they're going to put you on the sidelines. Damien Chazelle was like that for a little while. He was putting out stuff every year, it seemed like. Who else? Ari Aster was like that for a little while until he got put on timeout.
Yeah, and he got put on timeout. I mean, he made up for it. I can't lie. I love Ari Aster. And I feel the same way. Ari Aster is one of those directors that I feel the same way with Zach Kreger. It's when I watch an Ari Aster film, I'm going to go see every single thing that he comes out with because I always know it's going to be different. Same way, I didn't really like Weapons, but I know every movie that Zach Kreger is going to come out with is always going to be something different. So same thing with Tyler, the Creator. I don't really like Tyler, the Creator that much, but I will listen to every album that he comes out with because it's always going to be something different.
That is a really interesting comparison of Zach Kreger and Tyler, the Creator. Zach Kreger's Barbarian was awesome, but I also really like Weapons too, really? Right? Okay. So but I also see that each film that he puts out is his own piece of work. Like, he is a true artist. To your point, Tyler, the Creator, not a big Tyler, the Creator fan. Did like Lemonade, that one he did or whatever, but for the most part, a lot of his stuff, I'm like, man, what are you doing? But same thing, I get it. Speaking of Ari Aster, I want to get into this film that you forced me to go see.
Yes, I did.
Called The Drama.
Let me hear it.
And why would I start with Ari Aster?
Why would you start with he produced the film.
He did.
Yes, he did. Which is very fitting because that seems like something that he would produce.
Is that what caught your eye when you first saw it?
No, what actually caught my eye was the fact that it was Zendaya as well as it was Robert Pattinson. They were trying to keep the twist under wraps, and I had already seen Dream Scenario. Dream Scenario was another movie that I didn't really like, but it was a different type of movie. So then I actually ended up getting the spoiler for The Drama, and I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. So I'm not going to say that I was happy that I went in knowing the spoiler, but for me personally, it didn't actually change the movie for me.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, because I seriously think it could have been anything, and the movie would have been the exact same because it was less about the twist, and it was more about how people reacted to the twist. And that's what I loved so much about The Drama. And I think that's also why people got so pissed about it, was because of that reason, that they picked something that was so strong. But I think that's the reason why it worked, because they picked something that was so strong.
I'm so glad we're talking about it, because I have very kind of mixed feelings. Have you guys already seen it, The Drama? Do you guys mind if it's a spoiler kind of thing? I mean, it's all good. It's the moral question: is someone guilty for what they almost did, or only for what they actually did? Right. And so this woman Zendaya is recounting something that she almost did. She almost killed a bunch of people at her school, versus something that she actually didn't do. The way they set it up and started it with the ear, that first opening shot was so Ari Aster like. If you watch The Drama and you go back and watch Midsommar, the editing style and techniques he uses almost like the same style. And so I knew something. I was like, Ari's been like, you know, when someone's like been in a room, it's like, or someone has a scent and you can smell it, and it's like, Ari's been here. I was thinking that the entire movie when I was watching it. So that was kind of cool. Not only was he a producer, his producer on all his films was on as a producer as well, Joey C. So it was almost like Christopher Borgli was like, I'm going to make this American film. I'm going to bring in this American director and his team along with my team, and we're going to kind of collaborate and put out this piece of work. Not a big fan of The Drama. And the main reason I'm not a big fan of The Drama is because I didn't believe the reality of the situation. In America, 95% of school shootings are done by men, not women. They're done by men. So why am I you're trying to sell Americans that this woman killed a bunch of people? 5% of the entire population are women, are mass shootings done by women. 95% are done by men. I thought the whole story was wrong. I thought it should have been Zendaya found out that Robert Pattinson had tried to do that and actually didn't do it. That would have made more sense. He's a white man. Not only did you put it on a woman, let's break down the gender thing. I didn't agree with that. You put it on a black woman. When have you seen a black woman do a school shooting? Never in your life, because her mama would have slapped the shit out of her. It wouldn't have happened. It's never happened. So all of a sudden you have a black woman who's just doing school shootings and then just didn't do it because her dad's in the army. I'm like, wait a second. You're expecting Americans to buy this narrative and you don't show any violence. You don't show any of that. You create this overarching drama on something that isn't a reality for us. So now what we're watching on the screen, and what I was telling you earlier about how Scorsese impacted me or how Tarantino impacted me as a child, because I was living that reality that I was seeing on the screen. So it felt very real to me, and I connected to that material because it felt very real to me. School shootings are a very real and serious topic, but it's done by men. So if you're going to come to Americans, you got to come to us straight. We ain't going for that bullshit. Don't come to us talking about some woman is a school shooter, because we're not seeing that in our reality. We're seeing men as school shooters, and we're specifically seeing white men. Just calling it as I see it. We are. We're not seeing black women. When is the last time you seen a black woman with a gun?
Okay, so I like that take. And I'm going to refute that kind of by just saying that's what I liked about the movie. Was it was so unique. It wasn't something that was a reality. Like, it wasn't something that you would normally see in your everyday life, which is why it was so strange, which is why it worked for me. Because it was like a black woman is doing a school shooting, a girl that was attractive as Zendaya. And then they showed her being like, you know, like a chopped chick when she was younger and like kind of, you know, weird and all that kind of stuff. Like, I liked the route that they took with it. And that's why it worked for me. Was it because it took somebody that you would look at when you were younger, when you were in high school, and be like, this person might fucking shoot up a school. This person might be that. And then they grow up and now they're fucking beautiful. They're Zendaya. And it's like, that's why it worked for me, was because it was like, damn, what if that actually happened?
I like that it touched on the themes of that. I like that it touched on the themes that it could be anyone. You don't know who could be or what people are dealing with. That was highlighted throughout the movie, and I thought that was done very well. But if you're trying to sell Americans on school shootings are happening in America at a crazy pace. This is a crazy American wound for us. All Americans feel it. If you're going to talk about this wound, you got to hit it right on the nose, and you can't do this thing of like hiding it and covering up and making it like a rom-com. If you're going to do it, let's do it. If we're going to turn the lights off, let's fuck. You know what I'm saying? But don't do this thing where it just seemed like you're tiptoeing around the subject, and it's a serious subject, and you needed to really hit the subject on the nose. And it didn't feel like they did it in this film.
But okay, and that I understand, but that's kind of why I don't think the theme of the school shooting itself was that really important to the story. I think it could have been anything that was like bad that you almost did. I think the only reason that the guy used a school shooting was because it was what was present. And I can see why somebody doesn't like that. That's why you feel that way towards it. For me, it's a lot less about the school shooting and how people actually reacted to it. That's why I liked the movie, was because the school shooting part of it didn't really matter to me. It was like, okay, how would people react to this if this would happen, rather than it's about the, you know, the shooting in general. But I can see why somebody would be really offended, because that is something that's so harsh.
It's harsh, but even I thought that was stupid, right?
Okay.
Because then I thought that, okay, we're reacting to this thing that she didn't do, right? So in life, we all have crazy thoughts, but we only get judged on our actions. What did you do, right? At the end of Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, James Stewart goes on this long tirade about how you have blood on your hands because they killed this guy, and he talks about murder and death. Those are actions. Those are something that we can define. Yes, she had intent, but intent can only be measured in the court of law to a certain extent. What did she actually do? Did she kill people? No. Is she crazy? Did she have a crazy time? Did she need to get help? But she had changed majorly.
Yes.
After that incident. So people can change, people can grow, people can figure things out in their lives and they transform, and we all go through transformations. You weren't the same you were 10 years ago. I don't know if you were a school shooter. I hope not, but you're not the same person.
And I understand that perspective, but I'm just going to use Colby as an example because he's right there. Like, if Colby were to pull out a gun right now and point it at us and not actually shoot us, he just had a gun, I wouldn't want to be surrounded around Colby because he just pointed a fucking gun at me. And even if he didn't kill me. So I'm going to have that idea of him, that he has the possibility of doing that for the rest of his life, from the rest of my experience with him. So it doesn't matter whether he did it or didn't. I believe that he had the capability of him doing it. That's why I really like the idea of the movie.
It's all built on a hypothetical. And I'm just not a hypothetical person. Yes, this is a different situation than the analogy you gave, because yes, if Colby did pull out a gun and it just jammed or something like that, you never actually saw her with a gun. You saw her tell a story about a time that she had, right? So Robert Pattinson wasn't there when she was in high school going through all that. Nobody was there, right? From what I remember of the film, nobody saw her with a gun. We saw images of with great editing by Ari Aster. Ari, you're doing it, brother. They're trying to hold you back. You're not going to stay back. So, I mean, honestly, like, yes, we saw her with a gun. We never actually saw her with a gun. We never actually saw her holding a gun and saying all those things. We just heard a story based off of DJ Overdose, which was, honestly, I would like to see where that story was going. Honestly, I was a big fan of that.
Well, I mean, you see the scene of her like holding the gun, shooting it, and then her ear goes out. And I mean, I think she's a reliable narrator. I don't think this movie's a situation where it's like an unreliable narrator.
No. I'm not saying she's not telling the truth. She did have the intent of doing those things. But I'm saying in terms of the story that she told, it's different if she actually held a gun at her age when she was telling the story versus her just telling the story out loud. I could tell you a story about the time I went to Thailand and I got stepped on by an elephant. That's different than an elephant being in this room stepping on me. It's a whole different thing.
I don't know. I disagree with that, because I'm just going to use Colby as an example right now. Like, I'm sorry, you're just there. Like, if he's in the room right now, and he's cocking his pistol about to come kill us, and it's like, but the gun jams, so he's like, fuck, he can't kill us. So he just leaves it out there. We never know, but then he comes out in 10 years, he's like, yeah, I actually was about to kill you guys filming the podcast. I'd be like, yeah, get the fuck away from me. I don't care if that's 10 years ago. That motherfucker almost killed me.
Yeah, but also to your analogy point, you're right to an extent, right? He's talking about killing you directly. She was killing other people. She wasn't killing the people she was telling the story to.
It would. Okay,
that's a little different.
Yes, that's a little different, but it's still like weird. I don't know. Like
it's a little weird, dude. Everybody has crazy thoughts. You can't tell me people haven't thought about killing other people before.
Well, of course. I fucking OCD. I have intrusive thoughts. Like, that's literally the entire fucking disorder.
But that's why we can't judge on thoughts. We can only judge on actions. If she had killed those people at the school, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yes, but there's a difference between actual intent. Like, you can have the intrusive thoughts of, oh my God, I might, what if I want to do this? What if I don't? But she actually had a plan. There's a difference between having a plan and just having intrusive thoughts of like, oh my God, what if I'm a fucking serial killer? What if I'm all of these things I could say? Like, there is a big difference, because then you actually have a plan.
I had a plan one time. I was going to go down to LA. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. I was going to fight my brother. We had a big argument, big dispute. I was going to drive down to where he lived. He lives in Torrance. I was going to drive down and I was going to whoop his ass good. And my car caught a flat tire. Yet again, classic story of my life, right? Because I keep riding these used tires. My car caught a flat tire. I had to wait for the guy to come. I didn't have a spare. Get the thing. I said, man, I'm going home. I had perfect intent to do what I said I was going to do. Did I do it? Okay, no. But so guess what? It doesn't matter. Even if I had intent, it did not happen.
You had the intent to beat him up. You didn't have an intent to shoot up a mall or to shoot up a school.
Intent
can only be taken to a certain extent. I think it goes further than thoughts. I agree with you there. It is more than thoughts. Like, you were really about to do that thing. It's a step further than thoughts.
That's a big difference.
It's a medium difference. I think that the big difference is if you actually do the thing you say you're going to do. If you actually kill somebody, that's a different thing. There's blood on your hands, right? We can only judge by what actually we do, not by what we think, not by even intent. What did you do in this world is what you count for, not only in this world, but in the world after.
Okay. I mean, I think this is just kind of where we have to agree to disagree. I think this is just like I think this is a morality thing. Like, this isn't a thing that I can change your mind based on that. That's not one of those, that's not an argument to have.
No, this is a good discussion to have, I think, because like we both feel differently about the topic of intent. Like, you see intent as she should almost maybe even go to jail, do prison. If you were able to find the gun and find out her hearing was lost and all that stuff, and Robert Pattinson said, you know what, I want to take her to prison for 6 months for what she did, you might agree with that.
So, and I think what rises about the movie is the fact that it has something that has nothing to do with them personally. And I think that's kind of, you were talking about that, and that's what I kind of agree with. Like, we're going to use Will now as an example so I don't have to throw Colby under the bus again. Like, if Will planned to kill another podcast group, and this was 10 years ago, and he had a gun and he cocked it, but it was blocked, like, it was another podcast. It wasn't me. So in my mind, it's like, he might not have felt that way about me. That's where I could be like, all right, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But if it was me and it was 10 years ago, that's where I'd be like, okay, now I'm like, that icks me. Like, that's where, and that's kind of how the ick works. And the ick is huge because I think it's anything that you have a personal experience with. That's why it's like, you can have somebody that's a fucking toxic, disgusting abuser, and then all of a sudden, within one relationship with this one person, and all of a sudden they're in a relationship with somebody else, and then they're just like the nicest person on the face of the world. Yeah. It's like, it's weird how that works. You can't judge them just for how they were with that person because it's the dynamic that they created. And obviously we're switching the topic a little bit by saying that, but I mean, that kind of is a reality. It's certain people can bring certain things out of somebody. And if something happens to you personally, you're going to be tainted by that. But if somebody else says something that happened to them, you're not really tainted because it's not actually internal. It's not personal.
I kind of agree with what you're saying a little bit. I think that specifically talking about Zendaya and what she was going through, she did change throughout that film. She did grow. And it seemed like they grew. Man, that one scene where Robert Pattinson and that little secretary
that's such a good scene. Yeah.
That was fantastic. It's an interesting film. I think I want to rewatch it one more time to make sure. But I just did not like the fact that a black woman was being put on that in that context. It just, look, man, this gun violence thing is not going to go away. And even though you feel like that was just a backdrop, if I'm understanding you correctly, like that wasn't really the thing. The thing was about really intent, right? Like the intent was really the main piece of it. But at the same time, you can't touch on school shootings and not touch on gun control and not touch on gun violence. And they try to tiptoe around those subjects. And that's where it's like, man, America's not going for that.
I don't think those were important to the story. So I don't think, because like I said, I don't think the idea of the school shooting was really the important driving factor of the story, which is why I didn't think.
Then why not choose a different topic then? Because there's a million different topics you could go with. But I don't know, the hearing, I know you have so much invested in it to where maybe it had to be that with the gun and the hearing, all that stuff.
No, because they could have picked something else. I mean, they could have had a finger lost for God knows what. Like they could have done anything realistically. Mm-hmm. But I like the idea that they used a school shooting because what else would they have done? I guess what other examples could they have gone to that were that kind of extreme, but also palatable?
Well, it has to be, they wanted to do an American film and they wanted specifically to do it for Americans. So what's going on in America? Gun violence, school shootings, homelessness, economy's crazy. It had to be, I guess maybe it had to be school shootings. My thing is, I don't know. I went back and watched Gus Van Sant's Elephant, just the ending. Cause I was like, man, we did all this tiptoeing around. I want to actually see something.
I want to see some motherfuckers getting gunned down.
Oh my God.
And if you, and I'll send you the clip too. I wouldn't watch it. And if you go to about the 4-minute mark, those two little white kids, they have themselves a party. If you want to see a school shooting done right,
Oh my God.
watch Gus Van Zant's Elephant, 2003.
Copy. That's a fucking great statement. That's awesome.
Just said.
No, I believe it. Like, yo, okay, what I will say is I watched a double feature, and it was the drama, and that was the second movie, and I watched Our Hero Balthazar first. And Our Hero Balthazar, seriously, it would surprise me if it dropped out of my top 3 for the year. It was fucking amazing. It was about a kid who is like an autistic kid who's performative, and he's in high school, and he is making Instagram videos of him talking about school shootings. So he's like, why does this keep happening to the society? Like, why are we shooting up school? And then just would stop the video and just stop crying. Like, just immediately. And then he would like kind of be smiling while posting the video, like, la-di-da-di-da. And then he like meets this girl who has a really big crush on, who is a activist for school shootings. And he invites her over, and he like tries to pull a move on her while they're watching a school shooting. And like, this kid is fucking crazy. Like, he's insane. So then he posts the video. The girl's like, I don't want anything to do with you. And then like the video of him kind of talking about how bad school shootings are, and a kid messages him, and he's like, you want to see who a real school shooter is? And then he sends him a video of a school shooting, and the guy, the main character, is like, oh my God, I have the opportunity to prevent a school shooting. So he gets really excited, and then he, in his mind, is like, I want to go prevent a school shooting. So the guy originally like blocks him. So then he makes a fake account pretending to be a woman. And then the guy gives him his address. So he flies out to Texas to meet this dude up personally to go prevent a school shooting.
That sounds like my kind of movie.
It was literally one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. It was fucking amazing.
I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah, no, seriously.
And when's that playing at? I might check that out sometime.
It came out when the drama came out, but it's on a small release. So I think, but it's only showing in LA and New York, so you should be able to see it.
Okay. Yeah, I that sounds like right up my alley. So school shootings are like, that's the thing this year, where everybody's trying to attack the school shootings. Like that's.
And what I will say is, I think Our Hero Balthazar made it a lot more personal. It made it a lot more personable, as well as it encompassed the whole idea of a school shooting just a lot more, just like strongly, and it didn't kind of just brush over the idea of it. And that's what I love so much about it, because I think it did it different than the drama. I think the drama used it as a ploy, while Our Hero Balthazar actually used it as a major plot point.
It has to be. It's too big of an issue to be a. I think that's my biggest argument. It's too big of. You might say it's okay for it to be a backdrop and for it to be about intent. If you're going to do anything near that, that has to be the precedent, because it's such a major issue in America today for us, and it's been like that since the 2000s. That's why Gus Van Sant made that movie. This has been going on for a long time. You can't tiptoe around something that serious, in my opinion. You got to address it head on. It has to be more of the major focus. That's why I'm really excited to see Our Hero Balthazar.
Yeah. Okay. And that I would agree with, because I can understand why somebody would feel that way if you're just kind of brushing over it. But yeah, no, I will say back to back, Our Hero Balthazar did it, in my opinion, much better. But like I said, I kind of was able to recognize the psychology of the drama, which is why I liked it, because I like thinking about morality, especially being somebody diagnosed with OCD, where I have intrusive thoughts. And I think, like, if I think this way and I have these thoughts and I have these feelings, it raised a lot of questions out of me. It's like, am I a bad person? Is somebody else a bad person? And it's all of the questions that I would like ask myself, and it's how would other people feel about that way. That's why I was able to connect with the movie so much, because like I said, it was less about the school shooting and more about the idea of that in general.
I get what you're saying. It is a big morality clause. I just thought that there's so much more things of morality that you could go for in something like that. School shooting stuff I wouldn't touch on, but hey, to each their own, you know?
I agree. There was a couple other topics that you wanted to bring up after the drama, because I was reading your little your list of things that you wanted to talk about.
I have 1,000 things I always want to talk about. What were they? I don't remember.
I remembered one of the things that you said that I thought was really important, or just like kind of a very cool kind of pressing issue, was, is everybody depressed or are we just all overwhelmed? I really liked that question.
Is everybody depressed or are we all overwhelmed? Is chivalry dead? No. Okay. Is everybody depressed or I think a little bit of both. These times are tough right now, and it's tough for everybody out there. It's not just me, whether you're living in LA, whether you're living in New York, wherever you're living at, these are really hard economical times. The depression thing, I think that's a personal thing. I think people have to do a better job of taking care of their own mental health. I think that right now there's such a time period of mental health discussion that we've never had before growing up. It used to be growing up as a kid, shut up, eat your food, go to bed. I don't want to hear a fucking word till you're in bed and take your shoes off. You know, like that. That's it. There was no, I have these feelings. I'm not feeling. Nowadays, and nowadays, from what I'm hearing, kids are kind of using that as a ploy against their parents, which is
1000%.
great. Use it, kids. Use it. I never had that weapon. That's a great weapon to have. So, like, but you have these tools and resources and counselors and therapists. If you're depressed, it's because you're making these choices to be depressed. You're making, or you don't know how to get out of it.
I think that's a better thing, because I don't think anybody intentionally wants to be depressed. I think people either aren't willing to put the effort in that revolves or results into them not being depressed, or they don't know what to do in order to stop being depressed. I think there's a combination of both.
There's so many resources, though. I don't know about that second part of they don't know what to do. They know what to do. They just don't want to do it. I'm in that boat, right? I'm depressed as hell all the time, but I don't try to stay there because I know I have tools to get out of that. But if you want to stay there, you can stay there. Are they overwhelmed? Life is overwhelming. Join the party, brother. Like, we're in it. Good or bad, you got to ride this wave. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And that's something that, I mean, we've talked about actually before. Was I mean, I've had my periods of depression in my life and all that kind of stuff. And I would much rather be depressed while acting on the stuff that I want to do than being depressed and not doing anything at all.
Exactly. Even if you're depressed, you still got to keep moving forward.
You still got to keep them legs churning.
100%. Is chivalry dead?
Is chivalry dead? No, I actually don't believe so. I think the only reason you're asking that is because of social media. I think in real life, there are still very good people, very good men that want to take care of women. I just think it is so prominent on social media and it's thrown in your face because it's extreme. So you're only really seeing the sides of people that are really overbearing and too chivalrous, or not chivalrous at all, where it's like, fuck women. So it's like, you're either, you're a Chad or you're a fucking simp. Like, there's no, like,
right, you're a straight up bitch or you're like an alpha male dog.
Yeah, like
there's no in between.
No, there's no in between.
We've lost our in between in society. I agree with that.
And I think that the problem isn't it's not existing. I think the problem is it's so prominent to only show one of the other sides because that's what is shown on social media. People don't want to see a guy holding a door open for a girl. People don't want to see that. They want to see Justin Waller being like, I have threesomes with my wife and she can't be with another man. Because like that's going to piss people off and it's funny.
Right.
Like nobody wants to fucking watch somebody, I'll pay for the dinner. Like, because it's just boring.
Very boring. I do think that chivalry is not dead, but I do think you can be too chivalrous, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example.
Bring it on.
The other day, I was holding the door for a woman, but she was about 10 yards away, and it was okay. It was all right. But then a couple days later, I was holding the door, and the woman was like 15 yards away. If you hold a door for a woman, and she's like 15 yards away in LA, she's going to think you're a pedophile or a creep or a weirdo. It's too chivalrous. So there is such a thing as being too chivalrous. So there has to be a level of chivalry. And it wasn't like that before. It used to be you could just be a nice person, hold the door 50 yards away. Don't matter. Now it's kind of like women are a little bit more protective. And I do think that's because of the internet, social media. They don't know you. What are you trying to do? So be careful about the chivalry.
I actually completely agree, because if you overstep with how kind and how friendly you are, people are going to think, what are you trying to do to get something out of me?
Yes. But we've lost our trust. We've lost our trust in chivalry. Men can't even use chivalry to get women anymore. You have to have new tricks beyond chivalry, because now chivalry's like porridge. Is it too hot? Is it too cold? No, it has to be just right. That's the same with chivalry.
Okay. I guess what kind of examples do you have? Other examples where I like the idea of the holding the door. Do you have other examples that are like too kind or too friendly?
Oh, brother, you're talking to. Come on,
bring it on. Let's hear it.
Going on a date. We were at the Comedy Store and going to park. Love that spot, by the way. I think it's a great date spot. If you can get a couple tickets to the Belly Room at the Comedy Store, it's like, especially on a weekday, it's like $10-15. Great little day spot. So anyway, we were going there. The parking's $20. Going there, parked. I get out. She's still in the car.
I see what you're getting at. Okay, let's hear it.
So I go, knock on her door. Hey, you all right? What's going on? We got to go to the comedy show. She said, you're not going to come open my door? What's going on? I was thinking, well, aren't we past all this? I don't know the line anymore. Is that being under chivalrous, or is that me not being too chivalrous? Keep in mind, this was our second date. So we had hung out, but we don't really know each other that well, but we kind of know each other.
What?
Yeah.
No, see, okay, holding the door open, like getting out of the car, that's over chivalrous. I think, like,
I don't know. I think that's the standard. I think it depends on who you're with.
I agree. I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't know. Like if I'm on a first date with somebody and I pick them up and I'm standing outside of my car and I have the door open and she's walking out of her house to walk it, and this is our first time meeting, that's crazy. Like, I'm sorry, you're gonna look at me, you're gonna think I'm a fucking creeper. Like, I would think that. I'd be like, now I'm not gonna say
it might. I have to say this. It might be because of your age that you might feel that way. Two, brother, I was halfway to the show. I didn't realize that she was still in the car.
But why the fuck is she still sitting? See, that's some princess shit. Like, oh, you gotta get out. Like,
is it though? Or
yes,
is that
absolutely is. That's some fucking princess. That's some as he should shit. Like, fuck that. I don't want to be with somebody that does that shit.
I think that is a perception that you hold, but that might not be the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is some women might look at that and say, that's a woman with real standards, right? So that's just a different side of it, to where I was taken aback too, and obviously we are not together now, so that didn't work out. But I did appreciate seeing, like, oh, okay, this is still a thing. Some women do still respect. So now if I go on dates, I just ask. I want to know where the line is.
I was gonna say I think that's something you have to communicate.
Yeah, I asked, do you like the door being held open for you? Are you the type of woman? No, I hold my own door. Who are you? That kind of thing. That way you clear a lot of stuff up. A lot of stuff in life can be cleared up with just good communication.
I agree.
And sometimes, though, it is awkward asking those little detailed questions, but it can save you in the long run. It really can.
I remember watching, I'll go on Instagram and I'll see those fucking prank videos, and it'll be two people that are at a grocery store, and a guy wearing a fucking circle chain and like a all green outfit will walk up, and like the girlfriend is going to pick up the water bottles, like a 24 or 40 pack, and then put it into the shopping cart, and then he grabs it, and the guy is just standing there, and he's like, yo, how you doing? Can I get your number? And then all of the comments are like mad at the boyfriend for not grabbing the 40 pack of water bottles. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, now don't get me wrong, I think that's something that should be discussed. Hey, like, obviously these are heavy, you don't want the woman that is grabbing them. That I understand, but at the same time, is there a level of like princess shit? Because at the same time, some women really do like feeling that they're independent. They don't need a guy to pick up the 40 bottles of water to put in their cart.
But
Now,
when you look at those women, though, you think that's a woman that's going through some trauma. I rarely think of a woman that's independent like that because we all need somebody, right? So pretending like, oh, I'm just going to do this on my own, all this stuff. It's like, sister, what you been through, right? Because if you're not relying on people at some facet of your life, life is hard on all of us. You got to have people and relationships that you can rely on and depend on to get through. And you can still be independent. That doesn't take away your independency.
Well, no, and yes, I agree. I just think like I do think some woman would be like, no, like I want to pick up the bottles because I want to feel, I want to feel important.
Right.
I would, I want to do it. I don't want to feel that you have to do everything. Same thing. Like maybe the guy cooks all the time and the girl's like, no, like I want to cook for once, that kind of stuff. That's her idea of getting the water bottles out. So for everybody to go on social media and attack the guy for allowing the girl to do that in the first place, that's kind of what I get a little confused about. And then there will be some situations where the girl or the guy will start flirting with the girl and then asking like her for her number, and the dude just stands there. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything because he's testing her. He's seeing how she would react to a guy that's, flirting in front of him.
Oh, that is interesting.
But then a lot of the comments will be attacking the guy, but then a lot of the comments will be attacking the girl for not, like saying, hey, no, I'm here. And then they'll play along, like the girl will play along with it and the guy's just still quiet because he wants to test it. So it's like a really kind of interesting test. I'm surprised you've never seen these videos.
I haven't, man. It sounds like he's like a Shaolin monk or something. Like he's like watching his student.
Yeah, no,
like it's kind of strange.
He's just standing there like watching his girlfriend interact with this guy. They won't say anything. I've seen this multiple times. And,
oh man.
Yeah, and then other times you'll see like people just like, yo, come on, this is my fucking girlfriend. Are you serious? Like you're gonna flirt with her?
Does he like film them
he has some. Yeah. Oh, they film all of them.
Oh
yeah.
man.
So then it's like a camera guy standing, and then he's shooting it, and then the dude will go grab the water bottles or grab a wine bottle and then hand it to the girl or something.
That's so messed up. You can't even talk to a girl in the grocery store anymore. Goddamn, I'm gonna see a camera on me over there. Like, hey, what's going on here? I thought we were doing our thing, baby.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is kind of interesting, and I think it is something that has to really be cleared up early. I think it's like how chivalrous do you want me to be? But then you kind of have to discuss that. Hey, do you want me to open the door for you? Do you want me to grab? Now that doesn't mean you fucking talk about every single little thing, because then you're like, all right, do I really want to be around this person? Because then they're thinking way too much. But I think there is a level of like importance. Because I went on a date actually. It was last week. And it actually went really good. It was really well. She bought my drink. She paid for both of the drinks. I was like, damn, I'm getting the princess treatment tonight. She started laughing. She thought it was cute. So I was like, all right, I'm having a good time. So we end up like chilling in the car, and then I end up driving her back. And on the way back, we were like kissing, all that kind of shit, whatever. So then we get back to her house, or we're on the way, and she just randomly brings up her ex-boyfriend, like out of nowhere. She's like, yeah, my ex and I, we used to go to this place all the time until he cheated on me, and all this stuff. And then, yikes. And then she's like, how did you and your last relationship end? I'm like, I sit there for a minute straight because I'm just like, no. Like, I'm like, why? Like I had such a good time. I'm not saying I was gonna like really want to see her again. Maybe I would have went on another date to figure it out, right? But then she blew it. Like, I was rooting for you. I was rooting for her. And then all of a sudden you bring up your fucking ex-boyfriend and then ask me a question about my ex when it wasn't necessary. It just icked me. I was like, why are we doing this? This is the first date. There's no reason for us to talk about that. So it made me feel like you're anxious. It made me feel like you're not over this situation. And then you ask me how my last situation ended. It's like, it's a vibe killer. And it just, I can't see you differently because I'm not afraid, but I don't feel safe around people like that.
Man, this is such a good topic. So what are the first date guidelines then in your mind? Because I agree with you on that. Like, you really shouldn't be bringing up any past relationship. There is a time for that. That first date, you want to sell them. It's all about selling on that first date. I am a first date expert because I've had so many of them now, that it is about selling them the dream of what's possible.
Yeah.
Not what's probable.
What's
possible. And so that first date has to be fun, bang, light. Everything's light. No religion, no politics. I don't want none of that. Light, fun, jokes, ha. Second date, we can talk a little stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. Little more. And then the third date, we got to be banging. So that's
I like
how,
that.
So,
I like
so that's
that.
the flow of how it rolls. But I think that with you, I wouldn't give up on the girl just because of that. One, you don't know when the relationship ended or what she's talking about. Two, she's young like you. Young people don't really know the rules of that stuff. I think that's not a huge deal.
No, and that I understand, but then she ended up messaging me the next day, and she was like, "Hey, I'm sorry for that," and then I was like, "It's all good. I don't think we should see each other again." And it was just because I don't feel, like I really enjoyed the time that I spent with you, but I don't feel safe within that situation. She was like, I completely understand. I made something for you, but if you don't want to see me again, you don't have to. When I saw that, I was like, the first date, you're making something for me? That really sold it for me. I was like, this girl's, she's going a little too quick in her mind.
You can't be making stuff for people. Can't be buying stuff.
It's
for people.
the first date. You can't be fucking making something for somebody. That's not right.
I don't agree with, and maybe that shows that she really does have that codependency thing.
Yes. And then it makes me feel like I'm an emotional babysitter. It makes me feel like I have a level of control over your emotions. So I have to play this fucking Captain Save-A-Ho Superman role where I'm going to be saving you, and I've got to make sure that you aren't upset, and I've got to be there whenever you want me there. I don't want somebody that makes me feel that way.
I get it. You have a right, and you're entitled to your feelings, and you have a right to set boundaries, and that's smart to set boundaries. That's not a bad thing. Those are good things that you're doing. At the same time, there are red flags that even got you before that, right? So
yes, 1,000%.
Did you even ignore those red flags? Like when you said she paid for that, what do you think about that?
I thought that was nice. I like that. That didn't bother me. What did bother me, and this isn't saying she's a bad, this was the sweetest girl. Like she was so fucking kind, but she was talking really specific and like kind of was really open and talking about her anxiety a lot. And I know that I can't be with somebody who's really anxious. Now, I'm not saying that's like anxiety is bad. Like, no, everybody has anxiety. Everybody has that. But if you are driven by anxiety, I'm already anxious myself.
Right.
You're going to rile me up to the point where I'm not going to feel present when I'm around you.
No.
Because I'm going to feel like I have to play this role to take care of you, to make sure that you feel good. So now I don't feel like I'm being myself within the relationship. So I'm not even able to decide if I really like you because I'm not able to be me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now you're changing now because but you're realizing it within yourself too, right? That's really great.
Yeah.
When you're saying that, I was thinking of my first date rules, and I think I have my rules kind of established, which is one, everybody pays for their own thing the first date.
Wow.
The way we do first dates is we have to plan like we're going to be together forever, but we have to live as if this is our last night seeing each other. And we're never going to see each other again. Because I think that's the safest way for both parties. I don't think you should be paying for somebody's meal the first time you meet her. I mean, you really don't know this girl. You don't know any of them. What if everybody just paid their own thing? Then everybody's taking complete ownership. It's complete control. Everybody's like expressing their own independency. I don't think that's so nuanced. What do you think?
No, I mean, I like that, but I think a lot of people would argue with that. And it's like, no, you're a man. You're supposed to pay for the woman. Not
in 2026, man. These women are making bank. It might have been like that in the 50s when it was like the woman's staying at home and the man's out there.
But and that's kind of what really confuses me is there's such this like girl power independency that's pushed, but then there's also this expected chivalry. It's like, which one do you want us to be? Do you want us to allow you to be independent, or do you want us to be the controlling man? And I don't mean controlling as in controlling, but like you want to be independent. You want to be, your own like Miss Independent kind of stuff, but then you want us to pay for the meals. You want to be able to go out with your friends, but then you want us to like be accepting and okay of that. It's like, which one do you want us to be? Do you want us to not let you go out? Do you want us to let you go out? But then no matter what we do, we are bad. Like it almost feels, at least with my personal experience, you can't win with certain people. I think with certain people, they are open and they are okay with expressing their boundaries and allowing you to express their boundaries. But with certain people, you just can't win. And I think those people, you kind of got to realize that fast.
I think to answer your question, women want both. Women want to be able to express, and I can't speak for women because the beautiful thing about what we're doing is we're going to have Georgia on, and that's a woman that can really speak for women. But from my perspective of women, which is not very good because I'm a man, it's almost like, I don't know if you've seen Ingmar Bergman's Persona.
Yes, I have.
Persona is one of my favorite films of his because it's literally this topic now, right? It's a man trying to express the views of women, which is a very dangerous, slippery slope. But let's try to go down it. Women want both the freedom of expression. They want the freedom of making money. They want all that stuff, but they still want the chivalry. They still want the old school rules in this new school world. I think your viewpoint is, if you want this freedom of expression, making more money, a lot of women make more money than men. It's crazy how many women are the breadwinners, especially in states like Texas. It's something that a lot of people don't know about. Women are out there killing it in Texas. It's crazy. Shout out y'all. But the reality is that you're saying that if this new rule changes and you're making more money, you can also provide too, right? Like it should change the equation a little bit to where it shouldn't be this whole chivalry's up here and you're making the money up here. It should be, the rules should change.
Wow, you think the rules should change?
I think that's how you feel, right?
Yeah, I mean, I
don't want to speak for you.
No, absolutely. I think I'm open to just about anything as long as the people communicate what they want, what they expect, and then they're not surprised when somebody agrees with what they say or disagrees with what they say, because it's it's fascinating. Like I've had some strange kind of experiences with relationships in my life. And, like I was afraid to stand up for myself and say like, hey, I don't want you going out wearing that. But then my ex-girlfriend was like, no, I want you to do that. Like, I want you to tell me that you don't like me to wear that. And then let me say something. And then I was confused because I was like, okay, you want me to tell you that I don't want you wearing something. You want me to tell you I don't want you going out like that. And she's like, yes. But then I feel like a villain. I feel like the bad guy when I do that, because it like made me, I was just confused.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a crazy woman. Find them, keep them hidden if you can. Hide them like Anne Frank. Those are rare. Those are rare treasures. But when you said that she wanted you to dress her, I was literally thinking oh my God, like tie her up with a ball in her mouth, like dominatrix style, and like with a whip and everything. It's insane. But some women like that, right? There's different women have different standards for themselves and all that.
Well, and not to talk about, my ex. Well, actually, no, I happily will. So we've had this conversation before, but it was one of those situations where she was really anxious. So she did everything right in the sense of how a relationship would work. So it would be like, was okay with me expressing myself, was okay with me expressing my opinion and all that kind of shit. However, I was anxious. She was really anxious. So we were never able to be present with each other. We were never able to just sit down, be calm, and be relaxed. Every time that we would communicate, it would just rile up into a storm where we're both fucking like jackrabbits going back and forth. And then boom, you have sex, you calm down, and then it goes right back up. Boom, same thing, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. That's almost the quickest way to kill a relationship.
Yeah, and it sucks because there was so much like love and there's so much connection between us, but we weren't able to properly communicate. We weren't able to properly be present with one another for that exact reason. And that sucks. Like, that's so upsetting. But
it's not uncommon in your 20s. It's not uncommon, but it's good that you're aware that you noticed it. I had a similar situation to what you were just describing. I was on this movie thing for a while. Like, even after college, I used to love watching movies. And of course, I was sitting down, I had this girlfriend, she could not watch a movie for like even 10 minutes. Really? Like at all. Like, we had to have sex right away. Like, she was like, F this movie, we're having sex right now. And so obviously I loved it, but at the same time, amazing. Like, we could never just hang. You know what I'm saying? And life is not about the sex, it's about the hang. It's about the chemistry. It's about the connection. And when you don't have that, the sex is not even as good. So finding that connection, finding that chemistry is so crucial. The sex and all that stuff will come, and it's great when it does come, and it's even better when it comes naturally. I've had a couple of situations like that in college where I had such a connection with this girl. The sex just kind of like we fell into sex like it was a whole. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And none of us had planned it. There was no expectations, and that's what made it real. That's what you're really looking for. All that other stuff is bullshit.
Yeah. So how did that relationship end up ending?
I was so immature. I wasn't able to properly communicate my feelings, my emotions. I really wasn't able to be myself in terms of telling her my inner secrets. And that's something where I have to work on constantly, not hiding in relationships. It's easy for me to, once I get in a relationship, to revert back to my old ways and to stop communicating. There has to be so much communication within a relationship. And I wasn't ready for that level of communication that it took to sustain it. We did everything else right, which was sad because it's so rare that I do things right. And that was one relationship I can look back and say, we did everything right. If I could have just been honest, and honestly, if I could have gotten us into couples therapy, because that's what we really needed, right? Because I wasn't able to express. Human beings have needs. Whether you're man or woman, you have needs. And if you're not able to communicate your needs and you're not able to feel like your needs are being heard, boy, when you're dealing with an addict, addicts have their own like conference room upstairs.
Oh God, trust me, I know.
And so like hearing and listening to your partner and the person you're in a relationship, it's very, very difficult to happen. And so you have to put in extra work just on that, or the relationship will die, and it dies quick. Yep. Not years, months, because after a while, people are like, well, fuck this. Why would I be in this? I'm not even being listened to. I can't even express my needs, my feelings, right? There's no safe space. Once the safe space dies, the relationship will die very quickly after.
Yeah, it was sad. I remember there were a couple instances within my last relationship. Like my ex-girlfriend would call me up and she would show me something. And remember how I was telling you how she'd liked me to tell her I didn't want her wearing something or that kind of thing. It almost felt for me personally, she intentionally would do things like that to try to get a rile out of me. Does that mean she was doing that intentionally, subconsciously? Maybe, I don't know. But she would call me up, like impulsively showing me something that she had done or bought, and then she was like riding a really high horse because she was really excited about it, and I'm clearly uncomfortable, and I would just have to sit there and kind of just be like eat it, because if I felt that if I were to express myself while she's on this really high horse, I would just knock her down. And it was really hard and that was something we weren't able to get over, was because she would call me up, do something impulsive, and I wasn't able to express myself because I knew I would knock her down. I would dim her light because she had a really, really, really bright light.
But I'm seeing something. You have a pattern of attracting these women too.
I know.
You have like there's something to where it's not like just them. Because there's characteristics between each of these women that you're defining.
Yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So you have a type. Have you ever thought about going against the grain?
1,000%.
Even if it meant like she wasn't your shape or whatever. If she had a personality that was like complete, and I thought about this too. It's very hard to do. Finding someone that's not in my purview of, man, it's easy, especially when a woman has had a lot of trauma. It's almost like a radar for me. I don't know why.
Well, clearly,
I seem
the same
to
thing
find,
for me too.
And so, how do you go? And this might be something for next time, but how do you go against the grain?
Truthfully, I'm able to sense it. So I have that radar. I have that fucking like Goku goddamn power level. When I look at somebody, I can tell. Bro, when I walk into a room, I can tell whether or not a girl is trauma or not. It's just like a fucking sixth sense. You feel it. You're able to look at them in their eyes and you see it. And the reason why I know is because I'm immediately attracted to them. Yeah. And I almost feel like my body starts floating towards them.
Like you're a dude?
Yes. No, yes, exactly. Seriously. So I recognize that. And if I feel that way, I'm like, okay, this more than likely means I should not be going to this person because there's an automatic draw to it. And I know the type of person I'm automatically drawn to. So I was like, that's what I've started to recognize now is like, okay, let me actually go against the grain and find somebody that maybe I don't feel an immediate fucking snap connection with so I can try and actually build something, because when you go so deep into something so fast, you don't actually get to meet the person itself. You, like you were saying, you meet this like modern or whatever the word is, this alternated version where they're perfect and all that, rather than meeting them.
Right.
So you need to actually step back and meet them before you make that decision. So, and that's what I've done is normally, like, if you have an anxious person with another anxious person, you guys are going to fucking cling immediately. And that's what happens. And then I'm also an anxious avoidant, so I get overwhelmed. I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
Right.
So it's, yeah, that happens. But if you are actually with a secure person and you're anxious, if you start to cling towards them, they won't allow you to, because they're stern in themselves. They're like, hey, this is what I'm comfortable with. And then because they express themselves, you're like, oh shit, I feel more comfortable to the point where I don't need to cling. So then you feel more secure within themselves, and then you end up building that together. That's why it's like, why is it when you make a friend, you guys are all of a sudden so like fastly connected, but then that kind of dies out, but then you're able to go to your friend that you made since middle school and you don't feel that same fear that you have to be this person. It's because you had time to build that thing where you don't feel that need. You have to do that within a relationship. The problem is people view relationships, people view friendships as the fix that hole, that missing piece, because it seems like the answer in your mind and you're like, I want that answer now. So you have to recognize, like, what I was saying is there is no such thing as filling that missing piece. You have to like recognize, okay, this is going to like provide this for me, but they're not going to be the missing answer that I've needed all along.
They're not going to be the missing answer. You can't force love. I know we're coming to a close, so I will close with this story.
Oh, we can go for, unless you want to stop. I mean, I don't mind going for longer.
I mean, hey, I'm rocking with you, but I'll say this.
Let's hear it.
Went on a speed dating thing here in LA. We're recording this on Saturday, so this was last night. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Went speed dating, and it was not what I was expecting. A lot of moms, a lot of kids, a lot of grandmas. So LA is a type of place to where that older crowd likes to get after it. And I thought this was like for a younger crowd type, like 30s, 20s, 30s type deal. It was not. And so a lot of the speed dates were like, do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? And so it was a little bit awkward from that standpoint, but it taught me a lesson in itself to where I have to do a better job of practicing more acceptance and just setting boundaries like, hey, nah, I don't have kids and I'm not looking for kids right now. And that's really kind of tough, because there is like this expectation where women are like, but you're like 33, like you're old as shit. And I know, but I'm still not there yet. So you have to know where you're at. You have to be honest about where you're at, and you can't force this thing. It has to happen naturally. But in the meantime, it's a great time to always be working on bettering yourself. It seems like you've done a lot of work bettering yourself, because at least you're able to detect who and what's out there, and you're able to detect. But let me tell you something, brother. We all got problems. Nobody in this world doesn't have some kind of issues that you're going to have to deal with and put up with. You're just going to have to pick your battles.
Yeah. And that's what I've realized is I know what battles I want to fight, at least at this point in my life. I mean, that's not going to stay the same for 10 years, 20 years, or maybe it is like, and that's kind of the acceptance that I'm starting to realize is I'm starting to be more open to the maybe not. I'm just going to make this choice now. This is what I know I can't deal with at this point in my life, and then grow from there. So
Well said, brother.
thank you. Well, this was episode number 32 of the Brandon Alper experience with Lloyd Tunstill.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else that you would like to add? I mean, obviously, I want to continue doing this with you. We'll make our own little podcast, but is there anything you would like to end with this episode?
Man, so grateful that you're back. Honestly, I'm grateful that I was your first guest back. Glad you're back in this space. You're a great podcast host. I'm glad that you're doing it again, and looking forward to doing more.
Amen. Thank you. That really means a lot to me, and I appreciate you hopping on. I've had a fucking blast. I had a great conversation, learned about a lot about you, a lot about myself, as well as just, LA in general. And I think that's life right now for all of us, is just fucking LA. So it's a cool experience. But
And thank you to Colby and Will for sitting down on this hard ass floor for 2 hours, man. Thank you guys so much, and doing all this work behind the camera. Thank you.
we'll have to get you guys some mics next time. We'll have the ones in the background. So
Yes.
if we want to chime you guys in.
Honestly, one mic for them and then one mic for Georgia. That'd be so great. That'd be
and
awesome.
We have 2 more slots, so we'd be able to do that as well. And then we could we'll build up to it, but yeah, we can do the switcher thing and all that kind of shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and I had an absolute fucking blast. One thing that I will shout out: do go see the drama. I think that whether you like it or not, I think it raises a massive question about society right now, and I think it's important to kind of just think about the morality and who you would be in that circumstance, because for sure I had a really big connection, and even though you said you didn't like it, we still had a 30-minute conversation about it. So
Yes,
I think clearly it did something right. So
for sure.
thank you, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.